much? Well, the New York Times headline says it all. Tax rates at the top, the most, quote, progressive since 1979. In other words, tax rates were the highest since 1979. And with the new Fed rates, higher state rates, the special Obamacare tax, and the return of the PEP and P's deduction limits, yeah, we said it, the well-off in many states may see taxes at 50% at the top end. Let's bring in Dan Mitchell, senior fellow at the Cato Institute, and Robert Frank, CNBC's wealth editor. Dan, when you put all these numbers together, and I did it over the weekend or laid up on the couch, I think it was 9 states at the very top. Now, your effective will be lower, I get it, but 9 states, you're going to hit 50%.
I definitely would not want to live in California, and I probably should have trained to be an accountant rather than an economist, because this is great for the tax preparation industry. But what really matters for our competitiveness from a job standpoint is marginal tax rates are very, very high, as you said, over 50% in several states, and this is going to discourage a lot of wealth creation, a lot of entrepreneurship in the country, because people are not fatted calves awaiting slaughter. They're going to react in ways to reduce the taxable income they report to government.
I mean, is this the best the government can do, seriously, to try to grow the economy, is slaughter people and charge them 50% of their wages? Here, take 50%. I mean, why not do it Singapore style, eliminate all deductions and just lower the rates?
That certainly is what I would want to do. I've been pushing for a flat tax for more than 20 years. The problem is not only do you have the class warfare people against it, but you also have this huge industry inside Washington of the special interest groups, the lobbyists, the bureaucrats, the insiders, and the politicians, all of whom benefit from this complicated 72,000-page plus tax system. Why, if you were on the Finance or Ways and Means Committee in the Senate and House, respectively, why would you want to turn your committee into a harmless oversight committee by doing real tax reform?
But Dan, just to take the other side and talk about some of the other arguments here. I mean, economists have looked at the correlation between economic growth and top tax rates, and they find there really is no correlation between the tax rates on the top earners and economic growth. Everyone from each party can sort of pick a period of time and say, see, this proves our point. But in fact, if you look at capital gains or the income tax rate, there really is no correlation. Broader issues like the stock market and GDP really determine the income stream, whereas taxes just decide how that's sort of divided up. How do you look at that issue?
If you dig into that research, what you're finding is that there are lots of things that affect the economy. And let's take the Clinton years as a good example. Yes, tax rates went up in Bill Clinton's first year. But then for the next 7 years, we reduced the burden of government spending by almost 4 percentage points of GDP. We got expanded world trade with GATT and NAFTA. We had deregulation. We had a much more free market economy when Bill Clinton left office than when he took office. So in other words, the one bad thing he did on tax rates was completely offset by other sorts of good policy. But if all you're talking about in isolation is just the effective tax policy, there's no question in my mind that there's a reason why low-tax economies like Hong Kong and Singapore grow faster than we grow.
I have a question for you, Robert. You study the wealthy, right? Okay, so their taxes are going up. Do you know what they cut back on first? Like, which area of the economy is going to be hit first? Is it going to be entertainment, dining, buying houses or something, or charity? What is it?
Yeah, well, spending and lifestyle is kind of the last thing that they touch. And in sort of order of priority, they wall off the lifestyle. That doesn't get touched. Retirement income, family, what they're going to pass to the kids, that doesn't get touched. I think it's really going to be charity. And that's the issue.
That's the saddest thing of all. You're slamming the top and you're slamming the bottom.
Mandy, stop acting like you don't hobnob with the big deals, okay? Because I know you do. I've got a lot of friends I'm proud to say who are successful, and we talk about it. And guess what? Every single person I've talked to, and these are not jerks, okay? They're not heartless idiots.
No.
But they believe that the government is the ultimate form of charity.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
And that the first thing they're cutting back on is charity.
It's the same financial bucket. In their mind, it's the same bucket.
You're killing the bottom people and the top people.
If the taxes are taking a larger piece of that bucket, charity is going to suffer. So that's good. That's going to be the first thing. And I think spending is going to be the last thing. But I think, discretionary investments, I think we're going to see in the stock market as well.
And the sad thing about America, Dan, too, and I know we got to go, is this, like, listen, I'm happy to pay 75% in taxes if I have a 10-minute high-speed rail to work, free health care, free education, and $5 bottles of good Bordeaux. The problem is, in America, we don't even see that. The airports are old, the roads are old, health care is expensive, education's out of control, we have hour-long commutes at best, and we keep paying higher taxes.
And it's not that you even get those good results in a place like France, because when Hollande is trying to put in this higher tax rate, you're seeing a lot of rich people, whether they're celebrities or whether they're entrepreneurs, they're moving to Belgium, they're moving to Switzerland, they're moving to London.
To Russia.
And even Russia, although that's just for citizenship purposes, not for residence purposes. The moral of the story is that high tax rates are going to lead to inefficient tax avoidance behavior on the part of rich people. That's bad for the rest of us.
Yeah.
And also, and this is the worst part to me, the more you bring money into Washington, the more these alcoholics behind me are going to increase spending.
We got to go. Great point, because it's not like Joe and Jane six-pack are going to see much of that extra money anyway. It's not like it flows down. Trickle-down economics may not work in the private sector. It sure as heck doesn't work in the government sector, because it just goes to the government. Dan, thank you.
Yeah.